The universe doesn't recognize parking laws, Your Honor.
The universe didn't pay for your Range Rover. Desperate mothers did.
She sat in the defendant's chair, scrolling through her phone, pausing occasionally to take selfies with the courtroom as her backdrop. When Judge Caprio asked her to put it away, she sighed dramatically and said, "Can we make this quick? I have a podcast to record about toxic positivity in the legal system." Nobody in that courtroom knew that this wellness influencer's parking ticket case would expose a pyramid scheme that had bankrupted hundreds of desperate mothers. And when the judge discovered what she'd really been selling, her carefully curated smile would finally crack. If you love watching Judge Frank Caprio bring justice with wisdom and compassion, I need your help. This is a brand new channel, Judges Clap Back, dedicated to bringing you these powerful courtroom moments every single day. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like to support this journey. Your support means everything as we build this community together. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because what happens next will make you question everything you see on social media. Providence Municipal Court, Thursday morning, May 9th, 11:15 a.m. The morning docket had been standard until the doors opened, and in walked what could only be described as a walking Instagram advertisement. Amber Sinclair Rose, 31 years old, founder and CEO of Rise and Thrive Wellness Collective, entered the courtroom like she was walking into a sponsored yoga retreat. Head to toe Lululemon in coordinating pastels. A rose quartz pendant the size of a golf ball hung from her neck. Crystals dangled from her wrists. Perfect beach waves that probably took 2 hours and $300 to achieve. A designer water bottle covered in affirmation stickers, and an expensive camera bag for content creation. But what really caught everyone's attention was her behavior. She didn't walk to the defendant's area. She glided, stopping twice to adjust her outfit and check her reflection in the courtroom windows. She set up a small ring light on the bench and positioned her phone to record. The bailiff immediately approached. "Ma'am, you cannot film in this courtroom." Amber looked up with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. The kind wellness influencers perfect for Instagram stories. "Oh, I'm not filming the proceedings. I'm just documenting my journey. My followers need to see me being vulnerable. Put the phone away. Now." Amber sighed, a performance of exhaustion. The patriarchy really thrives in institutional spaces, doesn't it? She turned off the ring light, but kept the phone in her hand, screen glowing. Several people in the gallery exchanged looks. An elderly woman whispered to her companion. A man in work clothes shook his head. Judge Frank Caprio looked up from his paperwork. His expression was patient, but anyone who knew him could see the slight tightening around his eyes. That look that meant he'd already assessed the situation. "Good morning. Are you Amber Sinclair Rose?" "I am." Her voice had that breathy, overly gentle quality popular among wellness influencers, like every word was a meditation. "But I prefer Amber Sinclair now. I'm dropping the Rose. It no longer aligns with my authentic self." "I see. You're here regarding a parking citation. Your vehicle, a white Range Rover, was parked in a fire lane outside the Wellness Expo at the Providence Convention Center on April 20th. 3 hours. Is this accurate?" Amber waved her hand dismissively, crystals jangling. "I was teaching a workshop on financial abundance. The parking was chaotic. The universe was telling me to park there, so I listened to my intuition." "The universe was telling you to park illegally in a fire lane?" "The universe doesn't recognize human constructs like parking regulations, Your Honor. Those are limitations we place on ourselves." The courtroom went completely silent. Even the court reporter's fingers paused. Judge Caprio leaned back slightly, studying Amber. "Miss Rose, the fire lane isn't a human construct. It's a safety requirement. Emergency vehicles need that access. If there had been a fire while your vehicle blocked that lane, people could have died." Amber's smile never wavered. But there wasn't a fire. That's catastrophic thinking. I teach my clients to release fear-based narratives and embrace abundance mentality. If I had operated from fear about potential fires, I would have missed my opportunity to serve my community. Judge Caprio closed the file slowly. How many people attended your workshop on financial abundance? About 300 beautiful souls. And what did you charge? Amber's smile flickered. I'm not sure how that's relevant to a parking ticket. Humor me. The workshop was $297 per person, but it's an investment in themselves, not a cost. I'm very clear about that distinction. Judge Caprio did quick math. So you made approximately $89,000 from that one workshop? Revenue isn't profit, Your Honor. I have expenses, crystals, sage, marketing, my assistant's salary. But you couldn't afford to pay for parking? The question hung in the air. Amber's perfectly practiced composure cracked slightly. It wasn't about money. It was about alignment. The parking lot didn't feel energetically right. The parking lot didn't feel energetically right. So you parked in a fire lane for 3 hours. Exactly. You understand. No, Miss Sinclair, I don't understand. What I understand is that you made nearly $90,000 teaching people about financial abundance while breaking the law because you didn't want to walk from a legal parking spot. Amber's smile was starting to look forced. Your Honor, with all due respect, I sense blocked energy around this conversation. Have you considered working with a healer? I offer one-on-one sessions. I could sense your chakras are very misaligned. The gallery erupted. Gasps, angry mutters. Someone laughed in disbelief. The bailiff called for order. Judge Caprio raised his hand, and the room quieted. His expression had shifted from patient to firm. Miss Sinclair, I'm going to ask you once to refrain from attempting to recruit clients in my courtroom. Am I clear? I wasn't recruiting. I was offering healing. You were selling services. There's a difference. Now, the fine for parking in a fire lane is $500. Do you dispute that you parked there? I was guided by my intuition. That's not an answer. Did you park your vehicle in a fire lane for 3 hours? Yes, but then you're responsible for this citation. The fine is $500. Amber's perfectly curated mask was slipping. That's ridiculous. For parking? I help people. I'm changing lives. Are you? Judge Caprio pulled out his tablet. Let me show you something. He turned the screen toward the gallery. On it, screenshots from Amber's Instagram, posts showing luxury vacations, designer shopping bags, her Range Rover with captions like, "This could be your life too. DM me to learn how." And, "I manifested 6 figures in 6 months. You can too." This is your content, correct? Yes, that's my brand, aspirational lifestyle. And what do people have to do to achieve this lifestyle you're selling? They join my Rise and Thrive collective. It's a coaching program. How much does it cost to join? Amber hesitated. There are different tiers. The basic membership is $297 per month. Per month. And what do they get for $297? Access to my exclusive content, weekly group coaching, my proven abundance framework. And how do they make money? Another hesitation. They implement my teachings, manifestation, mindset work. And they can become coaches themselves and build their own teams. Build their own teams, meaning they recruit other people who pay $297 per month? It's not recruiting, it's sharing an opportunity. Judge Caprio pulled out more documents. I have a complaint here from a Rachel Martinez, single mother of 2 in Cranston. Lost her job during the pandemic. Saw your posts about financial freedom. Joined your program. Do you remember her? I have thousands of members. I can't remember everyone. Maybe this will help. Judge Caprio gestured to the gallery. A woman stood up. mid-30s, wearing discount store clothes, eyes red like she'd been crying. She walked slowly to the front. "This is Rachel Martinez," the judge said. "She's here today because she saw your name on the court docket. Would you like to tell Miss Sinclair what her program did to your family?" Rachel's voice shook as she spoke, years of pain pouring out. "I joined Rise and Thrive in March 2023. I was desperate. I'd lost my nursing job during a hospital closure. My kids, ages 6 and 8, needed food, clothes, school supplies. I was applying for jobs every day, hearing nothing back. Then I saw your posts." She pulled out her phone, scrolling through saved screenshots. "Look at what you posted. I manifested 6 figures in 6 months. From broke to abundant. This could be you." Every post showed your Range Rover, your designer clothes, your luxury apartment. You made it look so easy. "Financial freedom is your birthright," you said. "The universe wants you to be wealthy." Rachel's hands trembled. "I paid $297 the first month. You messaged me personally, or your team did, pretending to be you, saying, 'I'm so proud of you for investing in yourself. This is just the beginning of your transformation.' I felt seen. I felt hopeful for the first time in months." She wiped her eyes. But then nothing happened. No money. No abundance. Just more pressure to upgrade. You said I needed the quantum abundance tier for $497 a month. That's where the real magic happens. That's where people unlock their full potential. You said if I didn't upgrade, I was blocking my own blessings." Rachel's voice broke. "I borrowed $2,000 from my mother, who's on a fixed income. She gave me her savings because she believed in me, because she thought this would help us. I put another $3,000 on credit cards, promising myself I'd pay it back when the money started flowing like you promised it would." She looked directly at Amber, who couldn't meet her eyes. "You know what your program taught me? How to write social media posts that manipulated other desperate people. How to create urgency with fake countdown timers. How to use before and after photos that had nothing to do with your program. How to prey on people's pain and call it sharing an opportunity." Rachel's voice grew stronger. "I spent 6 months in your program. 6 months posting inspirational quotes while my kids ate ramen noodles for dinner. 6 months manifesting abundance while I couldn't pay our electric bill. 6 months raising my vibration while debt collectors called every day. You know how much money I made from your proven system? 0. Nothing. Because the only way to make money was to lie to other mothers the way you lied to me. And I couldn't do that. I have a conscience." She held up her phone, showing bank statements. "I'm $14,000 in debt now. The credit cards, the borrowed money, the late fees, the interest. I had to move in with my mother. My kids share a bedroom. I work 2 jobs, morning shift at a grocery store, evening shift at a gas station. Every penny goes to paying off the debt you helped me create." Rachel's voice cracked. "My daughter asked me last week why we can't go to the movies anymore. Why we can't buy new shoes when hers have holes. Why mommy is always tired. How do I explain to an 8-year-old that mommy believed a stranger on the internet who promised that crystals and positive thinking would pay our bills?" She turned back to the judge. "And she drove here in a Range Rover that I helped pay for. She's wearing hundreds of dollars in crystals that women like me bought. She's standing here talking about alignment and energy, while my kids are eating peanut butter sandwiches because I can't afford anything else." Rachel's final words were almost a whisper. "I trusted you. I believed you wanted to help. I thought you understood what it's like to struggle. But you don't, do you? You never did. This was always just a game to you. A way to fund your lifestyle by selling hope to people who had nothing left." The courtroom was absolutely silent. Amber opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. I'm sorry you didn't see results, but manifestation requires belief. If you didn't succeed, maybe you didn't believe hard enough. Stop! Judge Caprio's voice cut like a blade. Do not blame this woman for your fraud. It's not fraud, it's coaching. You are when you lie about the risks and rewards. You are when you promise results you can't deliver. You are when you profit from desperation. I didn't force anyone to join. No, but you manipulated them. You used carefully curated images of wealth. You created artificial urgency. You leveraged their struggles and told them you had the solution. That's not coaching. That's predatory marketing. Judge Caprio pulled out more documents, his expression grave. I've been reviewing your company's structure with the Attorney General's office. Do you know what percentage of your members make more than they spend on membership fees? I don't track individual results. I do. According to financial records subpoenaed by the Attorney General, less than 3% of your members earn more than they pay. Less than 3%. That means 97% of the people who trusted you lost money. He flipped through pages. And here's what's particularly disturbing. 80% of your company's revenue comes from recruitment fees, not from actual coaching services. When I look at your income breakdown, you made $2.1 million over 2 years. Of that, $168 million came directly from membership fees and recruitment bonuses. Only $420,000 came from your actual workshops and one-on-one coaching. The judge looked at her sternly. That means your business model requires a constant influx of new members, to sustain itself. It's mathematically impossible for even 10% of your members to profit because the money is going up the pyramid to you. That, Miss Sinclair, is the textbook definition of a pyramid scheme. Amber's lawyer would later argue this wasn't clear, but everyone in the courtroom understood exactly what Judge Caprio was saying. Furthermore, the judge continued, let's talk about your social media presence. You posted 847 times in the past year on Instagram alone. Of those posts, 623 featured luxury items, expensive vacations, designer purchases, all while claiming this lifestyle came from your abundance mindset and your coaching program. He pulled up her Instagram on his tablet, scrolling through images. Here's you in Bali, captioned, manifested this dream vacation. Here's your Range Rover. The universe provides when you're aligned. Here's a shopping haul from Nordstrom. Abundance is my birthright. But what you never disclosed is that these weren't purchased with money you made from manifestation or coaching. They were purchased with money from desperate women like Rachel, who believed your promises. Judge Caprio turned the tablet toward the gallery so everyone could see. And here's what's particularly manipulative. You used hashtags like Jochern single mom success, financial freedom for moms, broke to abundant, debt-free living, specifically targeting vulnerable women in financial distress. You weaponize their pain for your profit. He clicked to another screen. I also have records showing you purchased fake followers, fake engagement, and fake testimonials. The success stories you featured on your website, at least 40% of them are fabricated. Some are stock photos from other countries. Some are AI generated. Some are real people who never participated in your program and never consented to having their images used. The courtroom stirred with angry murmurs. This was getting worse by the minute. You also, Judge Caprio continued, created a false sense of scarcity and urgency. Your emails and posts constantly featured limited time only and last chance and only 3 spots left. But according to your own database, you never actually limited enrollment. Anyone who paid was accepted. The scarcity was fake, designed to pressure people into making impulsive decisions before they could research or think critically. He leaned forward. Miss Sinclair, You didn't just run a business poorly. You engineered a sophisticated scheme to extract maximum money from vulnerable people using psychological manipulation, false advertising, and predatory practices. And you did it all while hiding behind the language of wellness and empowerment. Amber stood abruptly. I want a lawyer. I don't have to answer these questions. Sit down, Miss Sinclair. You can't talk to me like this. I'm a successful businesswoman. I've helped thousands. You've helped yourself to thousands of people's money. There's a difference. Now sit down. Amber sat, her perfectly curated image shattered. Mascara was starting to run. Her hands shook. The crystals suddenly looked like costume jewelry. Judge Caprio's voice softened slightly but remained firm. Miss Sinclair, you came here thinking this was about a parking ticket, a minor inconvenience. But what you didn't realize is that parking ticket was just the beginning. He gestured to someone in the gallery. A woman in a business suit stood. This is Assistant Attorney General Jennifer Park. She's been investigating your company for 6 months. Your appearance here today gave her the opportunity to serve you with formal notice. Attorney Park approached, handing Amber a thick envelope. Miss Sinclair, you're being formally charged with operating an illegal pyramid scheme, making fraudulent earnings claims, and consumer fraud. The state is filing a civil suit to recover damages on behalf of 247 Rhode Island residents who lost money in your program. Amber stared at the envelope, unable to speak. Judge Caprio continued. As for your parking citation, the fine is $500. Given your behavior today, attempting to recruit me as a client, disrespecting courtroom procedure, refusing to take responsibility, I'm adding a $5,000 fine for contempt of court. He leaned forward. But the real consequences are just beginning. The Attorney General's investigation will result in criminal charges. Your victims can file civil suits. Your business will be shut down. Your assets seized for restitution. And your reputation, that carefully curated brand, will be destroyed. Amber's voice was barely a whisper. I was just trying to help people. No, you were trying to help yourself. Real help doesn't require people to go broke. Real abundance doesn't come from exploiting desperation. Real coaching provides actual value instead of empty promises. Judge Caprio's voice carried through the silent courtroom. You stood before me talking about alignment and energy and manifestation. But the only thing you manifested was misery for hundreds of people who trusted you. The only energy you generated was the desperation of women trying to feed their families. He picked up his gavel. Your parking fine is due within 30 days. Your contempt fine within 30 days. You will cooperate fully with the Attorney General. And if I ever see you in this courtroom again, attempting to sell anything to anyone, I will personally ensure you face maximum penalty. Am I clear? Amber nodded, tears streaming, ruining her perfect makeup. I need a verbal response. Yes, Your Honor. The gavel fell with a sharp crack. Court is adjourned. Amber left, surrounded by the Attorney General's staff, her phone finally put away, her ring light forgotten. The gallery watched in silence. But this silence felt different. It felt like justice. That afternoon, news spread across social media. Former Rise and Thrive members created a Facebook group to share stories and coordinate legal action. Within 48 hours, 500 members. Within a week, over 1,000 women from 35 states. Amber's Instagram was flooded with comments. Thousands who'd followed her perfect life suddenly saw through the facade. Screenshots of false earnings. Claims went viral. Brands dropped her. Her account was eventually banned for fraudulent business practices. The Attorney General's investigation took 8 months. The evidence was overwhelming. Amber had made $2.1 million in 2 years, while members collectively lost $4.3 million. The business model was mathematically impossible for most participants. Amber Sinclair Rose was charged with 12 counts of consumer fraud, operating a pyramid scheme, and false earnings claims. She pleaded guilty to avoid trial. The sentence was harsh: 3 years in federal prison, $2.5 million in restitution to victims, and a lifetime ban from operating any MLM or coaching business. Her Range Rover was seized, her luxury apartment emptied, her designer wardrobe sold at auction to pay victims. The crystals and affirmation stickers that had been her brand ended up in storage, worthless reminders of a false life. Rachel Martinez received $8,700 in restitution. Not enough to undo the damage, but something. She used it to stabilize her family and eventually returned to nursing. She now advocates for stronger regulation of wellness industry claims. The case became a landmark example in business law courses. The wellness industry faced increased scrutiny. Several states passed laws requiring influencers to disclose actual earnings statistics. Judge Frank Caprio kept the parking citation in his desk, a reminder that sometimes the smallest infractions open doors to much larger injustices. When journalists asked about the case, he was direct. She came in talking about abundance and manifestation, but the only thing she manifested was suffering. Real abundance comes from providing real value, from lifting others up, not profiting from their desperation. 2 years after prison, Amber worked as a bookkeeper at a small accounting firm. No social media, no coaching programs, no crystals, just quiet work, honest pay, and the long process of rebuilding a life without lies. One day, she encountered Rachel Martinez in a grocery store. Rachel was with her children, wearing scrubs from her nursing shift. Their eyes met. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Rachel said quietly, "I forgive you. Not for you. For me. So I can move forward." Amber could only nod, tears in her eyes, unable to find words that wouldn't sound like another manipulative performance. The case of Amber Sinclair Rose reminded everyone that the wellness industry, like any industry, has rules. That manifesting money isn't the same as earning it honestly. That exploiting desperate people has real consequences. And that sometimes justice arrives disguised as a parking ticket. If you love Judge Frank Caprio's wisdom and want to see more powerful courtroom moments like this, please support Judge's Clapback by subscribing and hitting that like button. This is a brand new channel, and your support helps us bring you these stories of justice and accountability every single day. Tell us in the comments, should influencers face criminal charges for false earnings claims? Should the wellness industry be more strictly regulated? Have you or someone you know been caught in a pyramid scheme disguised as coaching? Share this video with anyone who needs to remember. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Real help doesn't require you to go broke, and no amount of crystals can protect you from the law. Thank you for being part of this journey. Your like and subscription mean the world as we build this community together. Dramatization for storytelling and education, not legal advice or reporting.